Hello and welcome back for what is to be the last series of the day for the WCA first round of games. There is of course a double elimination bracket with 8 teams, and today they all play their first match. Tomorrow it will continue, but for now we're going to be in our last match of the day, best of 3 between VG Gaming and IG, or Invictus Gaming. Of course I'm not by myself, I'm once again joined by Blaze. Blaze, welcome back.
Glad to be back and looking at an awesome matchup here. Vici Gaming versus Invictus Gaming. Bit of a grudge match between these two teams. Both teams in the past month have been taking matches off of one another and in some very critical confrontations as well. So I'm curious to see how the metagame has developed between these two guys, especially with 6.82 out in full force. And of course, yeah, whoever goes down here is going to be facing Titan in the lower bracket. Whoever wins will be moving up around and looking to face against Alliance. So we'll see how that pans out. But for now, the bans. The Visage will be banned out. Really scared of the Drow Visage combo from Vici. They'd like to run it all the time, but the one thing that's still in the pool is the Wisp, if Vici want to go that route. At least for now, though, they'll pick up the Death Prophet and kind of get that anchor hero to build their team around.
Yeah, Anchor Hero is definitely a good way of putting that, because she is the one that fights are going to be revolving around, not only for VG Gaming, who are going to try to fight in her ultimate, but also for Invictus Gaming, who want to fight around her ultimate, unless they're so far ahead that they don't care that much, which I'm not going to see happen anytime soon, as Death Prophet is a very strong hero, and we've seen games in this patch just being a lot more even than they used to be. So it's all about that control. And that means that those ultimates are really important. Faces Void picked up by Vici Gaming as well. More control, and of course more teamfight potential as well. Is run as offlane as well as safe lane. Personally, I prefer him as a safe laner. And we know that Black can really make that hero, put that hero to work and make the best out of it. So hopefully we're going to see that. Viper and Lycan though by Invictus Gaming. And this shows a very mid-game oriented lineup already, which is pretty tricky because both VG Gaming's heroes so far do need either some levels or some core items before they can be really effective.
Yeah, so a lot of emphasis on the early game aggression coming up from Invictus, but Lycan isn't the same hero as he was before the patch. He definitely has some nerfs against him, and in general, it's going to make it so that Vici have a lot more control over the game than you would normally see against a Lycan. It's no longer the, oh my gosh, they let Lycan through. Might as well just call it now because 10, 15 minutes in, the game's going to be over. But we still see that he has some potential with the right lineup to be able to do a lot of damage to the towers, be able to harass very effectively with the wolves. It's just his shapeshift is really limiting now. It's the transformation time, the lack of base attack time reduction. He in general just isn't as potent as he used to be. But that's true for multiple heroes here. A lot of flavor of the month picks in the Death Prophet and the Void, but neither one as strong as they used to be either. For now, as far as the bans progress, we do see the Invoker taken off the table, as Ice plays a really good Invoker, so does Super, and that's just a hero they don't want to have to tango with.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to be picking up here. What VG Gaming is going to pick up here as their support duos. They have got two already fairly decent teamfight heroes. And if you want to have heroes that want to be able to be active mid-game as well, I wouldn't mind seeing something coming out from them like a Sand King, and perhaps some form of jungle hero, even though I'm not really too convinced about that one yet. But I would like to see a Sand King on the side of VG Gaming. Coming out for IG though, I mean the same thing goes for them. They have got heroes that just need levels, not necessarily that many items, but mid-game oriented, and you want to have supports that go really well with that also have got the same kind of timing in terms of when they're really strong, and maybe even earlier to buy time, of course, to get to the mid-game point to begin with. Death Prophet is not a very easily gankable hero, but it is possible. So also for them, maybe not a Sand King, but it is going to be a Shadow Shaman, which also offers a lot of extra push coming out. And I was wondering why I didn't have sound in my game, but now I do. Yay.
So the Shadow Shaman has a lot of potential for just hard lockdown as well as great push. Obviously, the Mass Serpent Wards are going to come out here and make it very easy for them to take tier 1 towers at the very least. The tower buffs aren't going to be enough to just hold against at least these powerful tools when they're off cooldown. So the armor gains, the fortification, they're going to make it so that Invictus Gaming have a harder time taking the tier 2 towers after the tier 1s, but the first towers should still be pretty easy pickings for them if they run the lineups correctly. And it should be Viper in the mid lane and Lycan on the safe. But we have, of course, seen that flip-flopped. One really cool thing about the Shadow Shaman is that he can get a really long duration disable on the Faceless Void in the Shackles if he's in the right position. And I've seen that mess up so many different Chronosphere attempts. However, it isn't as reactive as you would look for as a different pickups like the Vengeful Spirit, which was banned out, or the Shadow Demon, which just doesn't seem to be as popular nowadays, though it still has limitless potential. But Vici Gaming, this is where it gets interesting. They're going to go for the IO Tiny. I don't think there's any way IG are going to be able to stop it. It's going to be FY and Ice playing Wisp and Tiny on the mid lane, Faceless Void to the off lane, Death Prophet to the safe, and against this, it's so hard to deal, but they've seen it before, and we'll see how they counteract it here.
Yeah, it has had some pretty positive results in the past, but it's also, as you mentioned, it is something that they have done before, so in a way you'd expect IG to be prepared for this, to be ready for this, to have something lined up that can really, I don't know, somehow disrupt VG Gaming's plan. Talking about disrupting someone's plan, Earthshaker is a really good one for that, because his Fissure is, of course, really strong for that. It is not completely ideal, though, because Tiny can still toss people over the Fissure. Faceless Void can jump over the Fissure. Tiny can maybe blink over a Fissure if he's not hit by the Fissure and if he is indeed getting a blink dagger. So it's not that ideal, but it is a hero that does indeed disrupt VG Gaming's plan. I'm wondering if what they have in mind is strong enough to get an early enough advantage to get those towers down early, which is what you mentioned. That's what they are banking on. That's where they're going to get their gold advantage from at the start, and that's what they're going to try and steamroll through a bit. But it's so difficult because this patch doesn't really cope well with steamroll through lineups, because it's so easy to make the game even again. Not specifically make a comeback, but at least to nullify the gold differences that come from towers.
Yeah, most definitely. So it really comes down to not only gaining that momentum, but holding it and making the smart plays and precise movements. And I gotta really rely on FY on that one. I mean, he's just plays such a great Wisp, knows exactly when he needs to be in whatever position. But Invictus Gaming have a draft advantage here in the sense that they've already kind of laid the groundwork to survive through the laning phase, which is one of the more difficult time periods to go up against IO and Tiny. The Viper can go in the mid lane here, a couple points of corrosive skin, and he'll tank through the initial burst. And Earthshaker can always kind of be that counter initiator, that counter roamer. He can always move towards the mid lane, prevent the death of the Viper, and make it so that IO is just kind of going for rune control, and that's about it. On the dire side, of course, you don't have really any pull options, and you're pretty much just always going to be looking to pick up runes every 2 minutes. Luckily, there are 2 runes, so it's unlikely that IG will cover both of them unless the wolves go for denies. But it's still worth noting that they have some answers already in place. The Earthshaker was a pretty good response, as you mentioned, and it also screws up Faceless Void quite a bit. You might be moving around at max movement speed, or at least 1,000 movement speed, but when you're blocked by that Fissure, it's a huge obstruction. They have to walk all the way around and can very frequently separate him from his target.
Yeah, you can, in theory, time walk over it, of course, but normally you use that to get in to get the chrono up. Or you're not having enough mana because he's not that high on intellect hero, of course. So, yeah, that is a very valid point as well. VG Gaming taking into their bonus time to decide what they're going to be banning out next. And talking about bonus time, it's a luxury that IG does not have anymore. So, they're probably pretty happy that VG Gaming is using this time so they can use their time as well. One more hero needed for both teams, of course. We've got, you mentioned the lanes for IG already. They're lacking an off-lane hero. VG Gaming looking to ban one out. Nature's Prophet still in the pool. Not a very particularly strong hero against VG Gaming, but might be nice to add to the push. What do you think?
I think Nature's Prophet has a lot of merit to both sides because the global aspect of the Wisp is always got to be on people's minds. So by kind of seeing where their moves are going to be through the relocate circle, it's actually going to be a no-ban strat for Vici. Let's just make sure there's no disconnects here. Oh, boy.
I can't check the chat because it's not... Yeah, oh, there it is. Oh. There's a lot of people.
FY didn't show... Oh, he disconnected a lot sooner. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is a full disconnect on their side. The draft went almost all the way through. The Earthshaker wasn't a random, I don't think, but
I guess we have to leave, right, then?
10 seconds.
Presumably, yeah.
Presumably,
yeah.
Yes.
5 seconds.
I have seen some attempts to reconnect back into drafts. It looks like the admin has reconnected.
Yes.
But Doom is going to
That's a
be a
random.
random,
Yeah,
so
that's not
they
actually a
definitely have
hero,
to remake
guys.
one way or another.
Yes. Well, that is gonna leave us with just guessing what the last picks and bans would have been.
Yeah, I mean, Doom's not honestly not all that bad, but like you mentioned, the Nature's Prophet is pretty cool. The Enigma, and actually something that's been more frequent for the offlane recently is Jakiro. It's kind of weird, but it has its own place, and the Ice Path is really good
10
to see
seconds
Relocate
remaining.
coming and to immediately get the chain stun combo off. The Ice Path
5
into
seconds
Fissure,
remaining.
etc., could cause IO and Tiny some real trouble. So I would maybe think like Enigma or Jakiro, but we'll have to wait. Maybe they'll work it out on paper off the machines while they go for the remake, or maybe we will go for a full redraft. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see in just a moment.
there's no remake up yet in terms of lobbies. The admin did just disconnect, so I'm always kind of hesitant to actually leave the game because
Yeah.
what if they're gonna continue? But the admin just keeps connecting and connecting back in, so that's a bit troublesome. Actually, everybody already left. Let's leave. We can do this. I left the game. Diego. Sorry, that's a cat. Oops. Well, that means we're just waiting and guessing until the game continues, and that is a good time to just bring everybody up to speed. First of all, yes, you were expecting BTS to be here, at least, you are on the BTS channel, but I mean, actual BTS casters. Unfortunately, they have an internet outage that they hope to have fixed, hopefully within the next coming hours. And until then, both Blaze and myself are here to provide you with a cast, because otherwise, you do want to see these matches because they're quite good, actually. And glad you're with us. On top of that, I was gonna say something really useful and I forgot. So I don't have anything anymore. I can link the brackets actually. I mean, we everybody knows that this is a double elimination bracket. This is the last match of 4 first round matches in the quarterfinals of the upper bracket. I can do some spoilers. A winner of this match is gonna face Alliance. We already mentioned that, so that's not technically a spoiler. Already the other semifinals is also known. It will be Newbie taking on Cloud9. And I did give plenty of time for people to mute the stream to stop spoilers from happening as well. So, should be some good matches. All those matches are played tomorrow. I'm not actually sure if that actually is going to be the winner's bracket first, but the schedule is kind of loose, it seems, because there were games scheduled at the same time and they ended up not being at the same time. So it's all a bit searching in terms of which game is when. But if you tune into a BTS tomorrow, you won't miss a thing because they'll be able to tell you everything. Everything that you ever wanted to know, as we have everybody reconnecting back in under different names. And I think that someone leaked the password or something in Chinese, because these
No,
are not the players, are they?
they're all the same icons, so it must just be their Steam IDs not
Okay.
registering for the full English translation. But yeah, this is all at least on the side of VG Gaming, is all the same, and it looks to be the case for IG as well.
Yeah, well then we'll be back in the game shortly as we get everything fixed. Since we don't actually know what the issue was to begin with, like why they started disconnecting, so perhaps that is a issue that is not fixed by just a remake.
We'll have to see here, but for now, the mode remains Captain's mode, at least for the moment, and yeah, we'll look to jump back into it. If these are doppelgangers, then they're very convincing ones, as they all have the same icons. But looks like we're all ready to go from both sides, and there now we have the nice little set in stone names, and we're going right back into it.
Yep, and that means that we're soon into our last match of the day, best of 3, game 1. It's not an elimination match, so I kind of normally think that if it's not an elimination match, people can come with the weirder stuff and still feel safe enough because there is a lower bracket. Although this does, like the draft that they have right now is not really out of the box. Are you expecting anything out of the box? Because we haven't really seen anything like that today yet, have we? Apart from maybe Crystal Maiden pickup. But apparently that was picked up yesterday as well in a match.
Okay. Well, it's just in this position you have the safety net, so you don't have to really reveal your new meta tactics, but I don't think this is the time for experimentation. You do go for scrims for that, you pull it out as a pocket strat when you've practiced it before and you say, okay, we need this to win. But as far as pulling it out now, that's only going to just kind of reveal your potential strategies for later, and there's just no value in it. So kind of going with what they've already shown to IG over the past couple of months, I would have to say that that might be the better strategy overall for getting the most out of the tournament. We are seeing some failures though. Loading into the game,
Oh,
actually, everybody's out, so it might be
where's the out button? There it is.
take 3.
Take 3. Well, we'll, actually, we're gonna do one more time. No, but we'll be right back. We're gonna just take a quick break and see if everything loads in. When everything is loaded in, we'll be back with you with the first match of the, or last match of the day, rather, the first match of the best of 3, first game of the best of 3. So, stick around, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.